Today we're talking about something that's been out for a while, but has had some significant changes over the last few months, and the software is a bit better now. So let's take a look at the Trimui Smart Pro. So this device is completely the same as what it has been, but they've made some changes to the software, which is why we're going back over this. So if you'd like the full device review, check in the card or check in the description down below for the full review of the device. But what we're talking about today is the new software that they've put on it and what they've done to the device itself, you know, again, software-wise, to make it better and make it worth more of your dollar. So with the original software, the Trimui Smart Pro can play everything all the way up to the PSP, and then the PSP did have some issues with the timing and a little bit of sound crackling and stuff like that. But what played well on the device was everything from the 8 and 16-bit era all the way up to the Game Boy Advance, and even into the 3D era of things with the PlayStation, but then having some issues with Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, and we got into some issues as well with the PSP. So that's everything that was included in the earlier package, but what have they done to completely change the software from the original device? Because we had some issues with PSP emulation, and this thing is basically the size and shape of a PSP, so we're really hoping it would do that. But it didn't right off the bat, and with this Surwish update up to the operating system, they've tweaked it just a little bit to get the hair more power out of it, and it does actually produce a lot better. So let's dive into the new things that this thing is doing. And the big differences they have here on Crossmix 1.2.1 is that PSP perceivably plays better. It's not changing the max performance of this device, but what it's doing is using software emulation and hacks to get to run better. So, meaning, yes, it will run God of War and it'll seem like it's running at full speed, but it'll just feel a hair off of what the actual PSP feels like. And here's our comparison here. Now, it does a pretty good job of doing that. So if you're looking for something that plays the games and will play all the way up to God of War for the PSP, I think this is great. But for incredible enthusiasts and people that want an insane, perfect, or higher resed option here, I don't think this device will be for that. But for everybody else, I think it gets the job done. In addition to that, they've added a lot more support for how Portmaster works. Retro Game Core has a fantastic detailed description on how to get Portmaster working on these types of devices, and if you're looking for a device that plays a perfect 16:9 aspect ratio with this device, I think it runs great. That, and in addition to how the settings have changed and the overlay, it's all just tightened up and feels way better than the original launch of this device. So I think they made a real big improvement on the operating system here and made it just a little bit nicer to work with ports and work with the PSP emulation pretty much all the way up to it can play God of War pretty dang well. So I think this price and what they're asking for has gone up in value. And they also, litnxt.com sent this over to me, and they also have like a grip now that you can put on the back of it so it's not such a flat pancake, in addition to like a case and stuff like that. So if you're interested in the accessories they have now for this thing, check down below in the description. But the big thing for me is, what does this device fill? Because this is a Linux-based operating system still and not a Android-based operating system. So it can play ports and it can stream with Moonlight, but the problem here is it's not Android, so you're not going to be able to stream any games to this, and the screen's pretty nice. So if you're able to stream stuff to this, the value proposition would be a little higher for me, but you can't. So to me, this is still a up to you. If you're looking for a Linux-based operating system that can play this device's software pretty well, and for the price you can get it for, I think this is a great addition. But if you're looking for something more like, I don't know, the Retroid Pocket lineup, or maybe something else. And a few other things that I would recommend would be the Retroid Pocket lineup. The Retroid Pocket 3 and 4 would fit right into this category, playing PSP a lot better than this device can here, in conjunction with Android, so you can actually use the games from the Android store and all the streaming apps there. And if you're looking for something first party, the Switch Lite is actually around the same size as this device and thickness. Right now, they're kind of dropping in price because everybody thinks the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out, so if you're interested in just playing Nintendo Switch games or doing some emulation down the road a little bit when this thing's software comes back to Android, when, you know, the hackers do their thing, this would be an interesting pickup as well. And when you put this new grip on this device, it actually comes in around the same size as the OLED Anbernic device, the Anbernic RG556. So we've already gotten a few different options here, in addition to having better software for this device, which is nice to see because a lot of these developers don't actually spend the time to go back and fix the software that's already out because they've already made their buck, they're not worried about it. But luckily Trimui and the Surwish software team, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that team is actually supporting this device for longer than I thought they would be. So that's nice to see more software updates coming to these devices. And I don't mind it. The form factor and how fast it works and the controls are not bad. It's a little small, which I think the grip helps with, but this is a totally up to you option. If you've got small hands, I think it's totally fine. I think the device is well worth it if you can find it on sale with the stock OS and then upgrade it yourself, or get it from our partners litnxt.com down in the description. Other than that, I think there's a ton of different options and different things you can do with this device. So I'll leave it to you guys. If you're looking for some other device that maybe we talked about in this thing, check here. This thing being a video. And one of these videos will lead you to possibly the perfect emulator you're looking for, or another one of my videos. It's definitely one of my videos, but it doesn't smell like pickles. Not as bad as I smell like pickles. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Davey out.